Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, folks. Michael Zuber, one rental at a time. Welcoming back Millennial Mike. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good, man. Ready for the next round.
I have to tell you, this is quickly becoming a series that I enjoy going through. It's quickly becoming one of my favorites. I honestly thought you were crazy for volunteering to go through all my comments and pull out, the hot ones, which you've done now, and they're a lot of fun. I'm, historically the only one that sees all my comments. I don't have a team. It's not some collection of bodies behind me. It's me. And to have someone else, do that is pretty awesome. So what do you got for us this week?
Yeah, well, as always, I watch almost every single video that you put out. While I'm driving around, I got them.
That's hard to do.
Hey, spend a lot of time in a car as a cop. You just leave them podcast style running in the background.
Okay.
But what I noticed is, people leave comments. And sometimes there's people who are pissed off and they leave angry comments that are a little bit spicy. There's also people who have really good, thoughtful questions that I genuinely want to see answered. So what I do is I combine and compile them into a little segment here so we can go through and answer them. So what we're going to do is start out with a spicy comment this morning. This guy's all fired up. So Tommy Bello says about you, this guy predicted that the second quarter GDP would be positive, so we're not in a recession. After he realized that he's been wrong, he's coming up with a new story. He should shut up and shut this channel down instead of spreading misinformation to earn money from YouTube. You're somebody who pretends to be an expert, but you're not. Get over it and quit, Mike. He was mad.
Yeah, he was upset. Yeah. So first and foremost, as I always do, I make calls. I make dozens of calls. Clearly not always right. Yeah, I had predicted a 0.1, maybe 0.2% positive, came in negative. Yeah, I missed it and I owned it. I owned it that day. I'll own the next mistake. The second thing, if we're going to talk about this, is I've tried to educate, right? I try to have fun. I try to educate. The Bureau of Economic organization will not call Q1 and Q2 a recession. The rule of thumb and all of that, people are going bananas about. Clearly, this guy would be in that camp. He doesn't understand retail sales, real income, purchasing, industrial production, employment. He's not in the weeds like I am. Yeah, I mean, if you want to be mad, be mad. If you want to talk about the one out of, I don't know, what is it? Maybe 1 in 6, 1 in 5 I get wrong. Where's the credit when I get them right? So that's what really annoys me is I make calls probably 5 times a week just because I like to have fun. I'm looking so far into the future because that's how I make money, right? And when you're out over your skis 3, 4, 5 months, it's hard, and you're never going to be right. I'm probably directionally correct most of the time, and sometimes I get it dead on. I just need to be directionally correct. I got Q2 wrong. I did. It's okay. It happens. I'll be wrong again. Shit, I'll be wrong this week probably.
All right. Okay. Next question. So from 500 Stony, he asks, what is your take on housing demand and sales collapsing? Supply is growing, yet the prices keep rising. Is this just a nominal increase? Are real prices falling?
Wow. There's actually layers to that question.
Yep.
So first and foremost, back to kind of comment number 1, I got this right. So, should I keep doing YouTube now or quit? This is what I've been telling people, right? The real estate slowdown is going to be demand destruction. We're going to have some supply destruction. We're going to have wish pricing. FOMO's gone from buyer. It's everything that I've told you is coming, is kind of right in the beginning of this question. Then at the end, he also brings up something that I'm trying to educate people on. Housing stuff, housing metrics is always quoted in nominal terms. This is important, nominal. But if you really want to understand right against the depreciating dollar and all of that, you can adjust for inflation, which is often called real. Here's a crazy thing. If you nominally look at the housing market, which we actually did a Dave Ramsey video on the other day, it's only gone down one time in the last 100 years. That was the 2008 Great Recession. We've talked about it many times. However, real housing prices have crashed 3 times. Or I shouldn't say crash. They've gone negative 3 times. I think it was the late 70s, 78 to 81. Real home prices went down. Not nominal, but real. And then again, I think 83 to 85, they went down real, not nominal. And of course, both real and nominal in the 2008 crash. So it's a very astute question. I think there's a good chance sometime between 2022 and 2026 We have real housing prices go negative. I feel good about that, but not nominal.
Right.
And most housing stats are nominal. So that's a very good question, very astute. I do think we could have a fourth negative year in real terms, but that's mainly, so what would that mean? That would mean, for example, housing in 2023, just an example. Housing in 2023 goes up 3% nominal, but we have 5.5% inflation for the year. So when you adjust for that to this question, we may see negative 2.5% real house price. So it's a great question. I think 2023 could be negative real, but likely not negative nominal. It's just, I think that was a cool question.
And if you forecast in the next 4 years here, you said 23 through maybe 26, a real decrease, would you think that it would be a crash or just a very minor decrease?
It would be single digit, which I don't even, it's somewhere between a rounding area and a correction. I'm talking now, I can talk Fresno, California, or the nation. If you want to lambaste me for Phoenix or Boise, these are, your buy box is your buy box, not my thing. Go, you do you. But if we're going to talk national, a real housing price drops is possible. I'm not calling for it, but I'm saying it is absolutely possible. It's more about high inflation and high rates than anything. But yeah, it'll be 3, 4, 5% negative in real terms. But again, remember, 99% of housing data that you see monthly is nominal. Not like all the charts you see are all nominal. I have not seen a housing chart adjusted for inflation ever. I mean, I'm sure there's one out there, but I've not seen one. It's just not done in housing. And again, the other thing to remember, if you're an investor, you use inflation to get rich. Well, how do you do that? You get 30-year debt today, and you know you're going to have 30 years of inflation. Your rents are going to go up for 30 years. The value of your home is going to go up, but your debt doesn't, and your rate doesn't, and your payment doesn't. At least the PI doesn't. Maybe the taxes and insurance will a little, but that's why you use inflation to get rich. That's why all the housing data is nominal. So yeah, good question. Yeah,
well, you got to love these YouTube comment names, because here is 500 Stony with his freaking Question of the Year award right here. A goofy name.
Yeah, okay. I don't, it's really weird, right? A lot of the hate and really spicy comments are from people that don't put their name.
Yeah. Hiding behind anonymity. How brave.
Yeah, really brave. Yeah.
Yeah, they have no legit name, no links to the website, no videos themselves uploaded, but they're happy to be a keyboard warrior.
Yep. Strong with their keyboard.
Okay, so Sergey CH has a question. He goes, I have a question. What happens when or if the US dollar defaults? Is that a possible scenario? Could that ever happen?
Well, ever, sure. I mean, ever's a long time.
True.
Most people get these questions. Again, it's doom porn. It's all of these things. It's the Great Reset. It's all these things that are basically excuses. I'm not going to do it because the world's going to end financially and I'm going to trade beads and, sunflower seeds or some nonsense. Could the dollar ever crash or, become non-existent? Sure. Is it going to happen in our lifetime? Probably not. Is it going to happen in the next 2 or 3 years, which is how I read these questions? Are you freaking kidding me? Are you serious with these questions? There's no chance. These questions drive me crazy. I can't help you. If you are in the camp of these are people that were watching housing crash videos in 2020 and 2021 and doing nothing. And now they're all pissed off because they missed the best buying opportunity of their lifetime. Now they're going to blame the dollar defaulting or, what are aliens going to show up tomorrow? I mean, geez. Crazy.
Yeah. Okay. GMP, I'm kind of asking similar questions here along with your thoughts on the economy and the market, but GMP asks, he was talking about some clients of his, should they wait to see how the recession plays out in the Arizona housing market? They're in no rush and they don't want to catch a falling knife. So I know you can't speak specifically to Arizona, but if we extrapolate that out to look at the national market, should people be waiting to see how or when or if a recession plays out because they don't want to catch a falling knife?
Yeah, so I don't generally give specific advice to anyone, but let's kind of see if I can get around this. Basically, my answer to questions like this is you or I don't know the future
Mhm.
at all. That said, it sounds like they have at least a city. So my advice to anyone is go get a buy box, right? If you want to buy in, Arizona, well, that's kind of large, too big. You want to buy in Phoenix, still too large. You want to buy in Scottsdale, still too large. You've got to go get a buy box. You need to look at your buy box every day. And what I've changed this year versus the last 2 years is we are only doing great deals today. So what I would tell this person or their friend or their client is get off your lazy ass, get your buy box, look at it every day, figure out average. It's going to take you at least 60 days. Once you can confidently say average, we're only writing great deals. And then because it's a client, I would tell you to go the extra step. Not only are we looking for a great deal, we're going to pay less than list price. We're going to ask for closing costs, and we're going to get a rate buy down. We're going to get everything we can. And if you can put that deal together, as Dion always says, it's always a great day to buy a great deal. But people, you can't wait around and guess. You're not walking into a casino or the roulette table and picking a number. You're not even picking red or black. Do the freaking work. Stop waiting for some magic sign to tell you the bottom is in. That's not how this works. It's not how it works. Get off your lazy ass and do the work. Stop being freaking a victim and do the work.
You shouldn't be relying on anybody's information other than your own. Even if you found really great YouTubers like Mike, we love to hear his information and his opinion and things like that. When it comes to your specific market, you shouldn't be relying on anyone else to be the expert. Mike says all the time, you need to become the expert in your market. I am an expert on Gary, Indiana, 3-bed, 1-bath rental properties. I am an expert at it. I'm not an expert in Gary, Indiana commercial properties or student housing or short-term rentals or Whiting, Indiana or Hammond, Indiana. I'm an expert in Gary, Indiana, 3-bed, 1-bath rentals, and I can talk that like nobody's business with somebody else who knows that very specific buyback niche market. So that's how professional you should be, especially if you're trying to help a client. If you're a real estate agent like this guy was, dude, it's your job to know. Not Mike's job, not my job. It's your job to answer their questions, which means, as Mike said, get off your butt. And I'm sure you are working hard, but get off your butt, go out there, work hard, and become the expert that they need. That's how you're going to get paid.
Yeah. And again, you became the expert not by sitting around waiting for somebody to ring a ding ding, right? You started the work early and you repeat it every day. Right? It is easy, but most people won't do it. Look, setting up a buy box of 3-1 in Gary, Indiana, which I know zero about, is very easy to do. And then it just takes consistency to get it done. And again, what I would tell this guy if he's a client is maybe his clients don't have a buy box. Oh, we want a nice house in Arizona. You want to drive me crazy? Tell me you want to buy a deal. And then you don't know what a deal is. Sorry, you're going to, do the work. If your client doesn't have a buy box, make them one or get a new client. Why are you wasting time?
Yeah. So, and we'll have one more question kind of in the same topic, because a lot of people are wondering, given the fact that things are a little tumultuous and there's a little economic upheaval. Sam asks, he says, as someone that wants to start buying rentals, do you think the time is coming to buy?
Yeah. So same deal, kind of like the same question. So you're right. It's kind of the same. It's always a great day to buy a great deal, but most of you don't want to do the work. Right. I see comments, dozens, probably 100, almost 100 a day now, which is pretty cool. I can definitely tell the difference between the people that want to do the work and the people that just, a lot of people want me to ring a bell. Tell me when the good market is. I have no flipping idea. No idea. I couldn't tell you I couldn't ring a bell in Fresno, California. And I've looked at that market every day for 22 years. You think I can ring a bell in any other city? And that's A. B, I ain't going to do it. It ain't my job to learn your market. Most of you are lazy. Most of you are waiting for some person somewhere to ring a bell. Then you're going to go look at 3 houses. You're going to write one offer and you're going to think you got a deal. That is gambling. That is lazy. What I teach and talk about is easy, but most will never do it. You're in Gary, Indiana. You're not all of Gary, Indiana. You're not even all single family homes, Gary, Indiana. You're 3-bedroom, 1-bath. That is awesome. That's a market you can look at every day. Folks, become your expert. Sit down, figure out your buy box. It may take you a while. Good news, I have a deep dive a playlist on my channel. The very first video I think is Buy Box. Go watch it. It's 60 minutes of my students showing theirs and asking questions. I get it, but go get yours and then look at it every day. So do the work.
For the people out there who are sitting there and saying, well, I'm not lazy. It's not that I'm lazy. Some people are concerned because they see all the economic turmoil that's going on, and they're afraid to make that first step. And so they're looking for confirmation that, well, maybe it's still an okay time to buy, and that's why they're asking. And to them, I would say the only thing that will displace fear is knowledge, to quote Ty Lopez. If you are confident in the knowledge that you have around your market because you've been looking for 6 months, the reason why you look for so long and you build your spreadsheet, you compare these rentals within your buy box, is because when you see that deal that is underpriced for some reason and it's going to rent for such a great price, it is going to be a light bulb popping off in your mind, because you're going to say, I've looked at 500 deals over the last 6 months, and this one is unique because of this and this and this and this and this. And you'll be able to talk intelligently about the differences about it. And all of your fear, I promise you, all of your fear is gone. And the only fear you have is, oh my God, someone else is going to get it before me. I need to get my offer in now. I need to get this thing under contract because I don't want to lose it because this is rare. So you need to do the work, because it will get the fear out of your mind and it will replace it instead with confidence, which is how you become successful.
Yeah, it all boils down. There's really two things to realize. We are heading into the bad time. As Greg Dickerson always says, there's good times and bad times. Neither one lasts. Bad news is we are heading into bad time. Bad news is it's going to be real estate depression, right? As far as transactions, negative headlines are only going to get worse. So there's two things I would tell you. One is, yeah, if you want to do this thing, I guess it's Ty Lopez and Millennial Mike, you got to build confidence in yourself. You do that by getting a buy box and looking every day. A buy box is two things. First and foremost, it's focus. And second, it's permission to look at nothing else. You do not get distracted by commercial buildings or apartments in Gary, Indiana. It's not even on your radar. Folks, most of you need to get more focused. That's why I call it a buy box. Look at it every day, build confidence. And again, once you've done minimum 90 days, maybe it's 6 months. A lot of us are 6 months, but I promise you, first thing will happen is you will have an intelligent conversation about your 500 or your 300 or whatever's on your list, and you'll be able to rank them best to worst or worst to best, whatever you want. You could tell anybody. And then there will be this day, this moment where this big bright light on this listing shines and you'll be like, I get it now. It's always a great day to buy a great deal. Go, go, go. So well said.
Okay, a couple more questions for us. This is an interesting one from Chris Owens. He says, do you have any videos about your experience in the 2008 bubble? I want to make some real estate investments here coming up, but my only concern is getting taken for a ride by being over leveraged. So, I mean, obviously we can't just link that video right now, but Mike, can you share with us a little bit about your experience of what happened in 2008 when people were getting taken for a ride?
Yeah, so there's a couple of things. First off, I think the best example of this would actually be my book, One Rental at a Time. That book really was written from the guise of, let's go back and revisit. We started in 2002, and we, kind of the story ended in 2018. But a lot of that story is, what did we do during the peak? And really the basics of the story is we had 8 houses and I was trying to buy a 9th. This is probably 06, maybe it was early 07, I think 06. And I couldn't make the numbers work. Again, I'm a numbers guy. I have a spreadsheet, right? Everything was negative cash flow. I've now called that an alligator because it's an image we can all think of. I go to a real estate meetup where the legendary Bruce Norris and his son, Aaron Norris, rest in peace, kind of talk about the great housing crash. He talks about this concept called affordability, which I had never thought of. And he shows lots of pretty charts. I'm a numbers guy, and I'm like, sounds good, but let's double check. So then I go back and investigate Fresno. I'm lucky enough, California Associations of Realtors, CAR.org, has affordability going back to the 80s, I think, for Fresno, which is my market. And sure enough, I can see affordability really is an early indicator that there's problems ahead. And at that time, Fresno is screaming problem, problem, problem. So as someone who takes action, I listed Norris Drive, which was my very, very first property I ever bought. I thought I'd own that thing forever. I bought it for 107. I sell it for 260, whatever, 267, something like that. And I 1031 into an apartment building I still own. I'm one that's like, hey, if some is good, more is better. Well, I sell my other 7 houses or exchange my other 7. So we go from 8 to 80. We closed the last transaction 2 or 3 weeks from the peak. It now rolls over. My balance sheet, I'm sure it went down. I never looked at it. I think net worth is a bogus number, but I'm sure it goes down. But my cash flow, which I do look at, goes up because as housing is crashing, rents are going up and quality of tenants are going up as they're losing houses. So yeah, I experienced the last run up. My lessons for you, right? If you want to get taken for a ride, watch your debt structure. I think multifamily and syndications are going to blow up because they're repeating the sins of the past. Short-term debt, last time called 2 and 28s, this time called bridge loans. Interest only, last time. Short-term paper, 2 years, same as last. There's a lot of bad things happening in syndications today. But single families, again, heading into the year, 98% fixed rate debt, 2s, 3s, 4s. Just do the math. It's hard. I'm not saying it's easy to find cash flow, but they're out there. And so I don't see the same setup. It's not a lending fiasco. It's not fog and mirror. It's still real loans. But you got to do the work. It's not easy. So it's a very different setup. But yeah, my story is in my book, One Rental at a Time, on Amazon. We almost have 1,000 reviews. It's crazy to think about. I think it's like 950 or something. It's crazy.
So the summary answer for that one is do the work, get good fixed rate debt, and only buy great deals. You're going to be just fine.
There you go. I should have said that. Much simpler.
No. We want the long version from you. All right. I think we got 2-3 questions left, maybe. Brian E. Lewis says, Michael's going to hold on to that call of no price correction for another couple of months, and then it's going to all unravel. Enjoy it now, buddy. Just don't come back with they're coming down to what they're actually worth excuse. What do you think about that on house prices coming down?
Well, first off, he's right. I am committed to it. Median home price is not crashing. Shit, it's not going negative in 2022. I stand by it. But just like one of the earlier ones, if I get it wrong, I'll own it. No skin off my nose. If I get it wrong, I get it wrong. What's the big deal? But again, if I get it right, this is a really weird. YouTube is weird. I get some things right and I celebrate a little bit. I get hate. I get things wrong. I get hate. It's this YouTube world. People, you just want to throw hate at people. It's really weird. Negative. It's weird environment. But yeah, I'm definitely sticking to it. You're absolutely right. We are not going to see a negative number. So what are you going to do when I'm right? That's what I want to ask. What's his name?
This guy was Brian E. Lewis.
So Brian E. Lewis, when I'm right again, that median home prices is not going down, Brian E. Lewis, what are you going to do?
Yeah, I'm sure that he will either dislike the video or unsubscribe.
Probably.
Okay. All right. Oh, and speaking on disliking the video and unsubscribing, like the video and subscribe, because if Mike gets to 50,000 subscribers, we all get to meet up in person in Vegas, and it's going to be a good time. So you get the Three Amigos live, all that good stuff. So guys, like the video, sub to the channel, stop being irresponsible. Okay, a couple questions on your house hack live stream that you did with Dion, the most handsome of the Amigos, and Matt, the one you guys feel sorry for.
Matt by far is the most intelligent. Let's not joke.
And he and I were doing a video earlier this morning, so he knows it's in good jest.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so Jill Pettick says, thanks for the great info. Question, if I have to borrow the funds for the down payment, do I include the payment overall in the cash to acquire as well as the lump sum? So I think what they're asking here is when they're doing their cash on cash return or yield calculations, and they decided to borrow the money for the down payment, should they include that borrowed money and the payment that they're making back on that original loan in their cash on cash return metric? Absolutely.
You include all debt, right? If you had a home equity line, I would tell you to do the same thing. I hate debt on debt. There's a lot of gurus out there who's like, hey, go get a home equity line and go buy a bunch of rentals. And they'd say your rental cash flows. Well, what about the home equity debt? Oh, don't include that. That's on your home. That's not on your rentals. What the hell? Debt on debt doesn't count? No. So yeah, if you borrow everything, get full an honest assessment. We're not hiding things here. If you borrow 20 grand and it costs you $200 a month, that's increased payment, $200 a month. Yes.
Okay, cool. One more question from that. Kevin Quato says, newbie question, why is 100% leverage bad? If you have a deal that has good cash flow and you put 0 down, in theory, your yield should be high. If you're a long-term buy and hold investor, why does the equity position matter?
First off, it doesn't matter at all. And you wouldn't have a high yield, you have an infinite yield.
Right.
Let's be very clear. It's not high, that's infinite. I don't know the context of that video or of that question. But in general, I think there's a lot of people that push the idea of 0 down. You don't need any money. And that's just dangerous. It creates false belief. Even if you find a great deal that gets no money down and you get perfect seller financing at 0%, you cash flow $5,000, you still should have reserves. It's real estate it takes money. It takes reserves. It takes good credit. I mean, it just does. I think there's a lot of people that push the idea of like Burr. Burr's was an outstanding strategy from 2012 to probably 21. It's going to do horrible in a flat market. And a lot of people are pushing Burr now because they make a bunch of money and they build lead sources and the like, and it's going to hurt a lot of people. Rates are up. Burr's over the last couple of years, you can do 80% cash out refis. I'm hearing now it's 65% cash out refis on Burr's. That's different. So, I'm not the guy that wants to push unrealistic expectations. In fairness, I have a real estate portfolio today with 0 of my own money. So all of my returns are infinite. It took me a hell of a long time to get here. I recycled a hell of a lot of capital to do it. But that's not for everyone. So I don't like setting unrealistic expectations is really the answer, I think.
Yeah, so I bought my first 6 properties with traditional financing, 20% down, fixed interest rate, all that type of stuff. These 2 right here are my first project houses. These are my first Burr strategies. And what I did is I took a HELOC out to buy a $29,000 house and a $60,000 house with the intention of remodeling them and doing a cash out refinance. Now, as the tectonic real estate marketplace plates have shifted underneath us with interest rates changing, and as you mentioned, cash out refinance is going from 75% LTV to 65%. Things are happening that are ruining my earlier plans. And this is why I don't recommend somebody start out with a more complex project like this, because I have enough of a base with not only these other rentals I have, but the house hack and the other rent. If something crazy or bad goes wrong, I can weather the storm. I can afford it. I can just pay all out of cash out of pocket if I have to. Not that I don't want to do that because I want to get my money back, but I can't. So if you're going to take on a more complex process, like using a HELOC to buy a couple of rentals and remodel them, I would make sure that you have the experience, the knowledge, and more importantly, the team in place to actually handle these projects. Don't start that way, especially not now. I would start with a great deal as a long-term buy and hold 30-year fixed rate debt rental property and a mortgage. I think that's going to be your best chance at success.
Yeah, well said.
Okay, last question. Let's end on a positive note. Learn with Reynolds says, one thing we never hear from you, Mike, is what to do when you're already as wealthy as you want to be. Is there a systematic way you go about catering to your wants responsibly at the finish line instead of just your needs? So, first world problems that only Mike has. But yeah, man, how do you spend all that cash in a responsible manner?
I don't know that I've ever had. I don't think anybody's ever asked me that question. I've certainly never done a video on it. One is because it would feel braggy to me, and none of my stuff tries to do that. But trying to answer that question, there's a couple of things, right? First and foremost, just because you get to the finish line, you could make stupid decisions that ruin it all. So part of this is about preservation, right? Making, once you build this empire, or you get to 18 like Dion and you retire, you don't want to risk that. So that said, I'm still growing our portfolio. I'm still trying to do new things. Like I want to build an ADU. Why? Well, I've never built a unit, so I want to have that experience. Is it proving to be a crazy headache in something that I maybe wish I didn't start? Yes, but I'm still going to finish it. Is it going to be the same moneymaker I thought it was going to be? Probably not. So you get to make other choices. You don't risk what you've got, is kind of my first answer. Second, one thing I'm happy to say is I've already achieved every crazy dream I've ever had for stuff. I didn't have a lot of crazy dreams. I wanted a car, got it. I wanted season tickets to the Warriors, got it. What have I, so those are the two things that are on my vision board for decades. And then other things I'm doing now is I give my time away because I can. I've given more money away to charity than I ever have. I've taken on things privately that no one knows about because I can. So really for me, it's not about, I don't ever think about spending. For me, the rest of my life is about legacy building. I enjoy it. I enjoy creating content and trying to inspire people. I did a video the other day about quitting YouTube because of, some jackass says I wasn't helping anybody. We got 600 comments. Yeah. 99% of them were positive. Like, that's why I do this. Mm-hmm. Right? Because clearly we're helping hundreds, if not thousands of people a day. You have no idea how cool that is. So what I would tell that person is, again, when you get to this position where you're putting away 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 grand a month that you just don't need, you're going to give some away. And you're going to be able to make decisions about time that very few people can. So it's really fun. It's really cool. I could stop YouTube tomorrow and it wouldn't affect my life. In fact, it would probably save me money because I freaking lose money on this freaking thing. But yeah, it doesn't suck. It doesn't suck. But I haven't thought about stuff in a long time. The last thing for me was the season tickets for the Warriors, and that was a big ass check that I already gave up. Talk about a complete waste of money, right? When you buy season tickets to an event, you got to do this PSA thing. So I stroked 50 grand just for the right, and then I gave it up after 3 years because I hate San Francisco. Stupid waste of money, but hey, I checked the bucket list item off.
And you got to see your boys win a couple times too.
I did. Yeah, I got the ring. I got the ring. Yeah.
Well, I think the answer that he was really looking for is, of course, when you're on vacation in Hawaii and you're tired of vacationing in Hawaii, you immediately schedule another vacation to the Maldives, and that's how you responsibly spend.
That's
I'm kidding.
But that's funny. A lot of people think that. So again, I retire at 45. I consider that relatively young. I spend 2 days calling everybody in my phone, smiling. And then for me, I got depressed. You're 45 years old. You don't have to worry about money the rest of your life. And you're depressed. That sucks. So what I would tell this person is, I couldn't play golf every day. I couldn't vacation every day. I mean, I could financially, but it's just what I had to find that fire. I was very good at what I did. My ego was wrapped up in what I did. I took 3 products from 0 to 100 million. Very hard to do. I needed that fire, that impact. And one rental at a time became that. So what I would tell somebody is, a lot of people think retirement at a young age or financial independence, retire early, is about events and stuff and things. It's not. If you don't, my worst mistake was retiring because of a bad day, horrible day, not having a plan. It almost ruined me.
Well, those are all of the questions that we have for this week. So folks, if you want your question answered, leave it down in the comments, make it entertaining, make it thoughtful, make it good, or be pissed off. It'll probably get picked up. Either that or direct message me on Instagram. Or lastly, you could like the video, sub to the channel, and share it so we can ask these questions in person at the live event, which we'll get to go to if we hit 50,000 subscribers. So that's another alternative option that you can do.
There you go, buddy. Thanks again.
Thank you.